my video 1. This first video is a series of 36 videos that we're making. And if you study all 36 videos, you'll have a world of information. More than you could probably ever learn in a lifetime. So in this first video, we're going to learn all about scales, triads, a little bit how the guitar works, and how scales work over chords, and just a world of information. Now first of all, we're going to tune our guitars. So we'll start with the first string, the E string, and everyone will tune to that, and the B string, B, and G, B, and A, and E. Alright, now we got that over with, we're going to learn our first scale here. And these scale patterns that we're using, it took me almost 20 years to develop these. They're very advanced. By learning these scale patterns, you'll learn all the scales in every key over the whole guitar neck. Now I'm going to play the first one for you. And if we look at it here, that's the first string, second string, third string, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And these are your frets in here. And the dots, that's your fingers. And the numbers, that's the numbers of your fingers. So you finger 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Now if I play that on my guitar, it'll look like this. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. And that scale starts on the 6th string. If you notice, the next scale starts on the 5th string. It's the exact same pattern starting on the 5th string. So it's 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. And if I play that, and I get this. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Now I have that scale pattern. Now if we look at the next one, it starts on the 4th string. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Now the only difference is when we change strings here, we have to move up a fret. Because that's the way the guitar is tuned. And when you move chords up on sets of strings or scales or anything, you have to move that 2nd string, the note, up 1 fret. We'll talk about that more later. So, it's 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, move up a fret, 1, 3, 4. Then we get the F scale. It sounds like this. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1. Okay, now let's move the chart here. There's 2 more. The next one starts on the 3rd string, 3rd fret. 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. And that's a B flat scale. Now I'm going to play it. So it's fingers 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Now if we look at the next one, it's E flat scale, starting on the 4th fret. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Now we play it. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. We'll play it again. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Now, if we take all 5 patterns, we take these 3 patterns, and these 2 patterns right here, when we play them all, we get this. 2, starting on the 6th string. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. A G scale, a C scale, an F scale starting on the 4th string. B flat scale starting on the 3rd string. E flat scale starting on the 2nd string. Now, if you notice, these are in what we call a cycle force. And that later is very important that you learn them like this. And just play them straight across. This is called horizontal playing when you play this way. When you play this way, it's called vertical playing. So, if I play the scales, talk a little bit about the fretboard on the guitar. If we look at all the notes on the fretboard, and we find our G scale here, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, it's hard to see it like that. But if we take colors and color each note in, then we can see it a lot better. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. By using colors, you can learn a lot more information. It's a really neat way to learn. It's a new way to learn a lot of material. Now, if I take another color and find another G note on the guitar neck, then I go to the fifth string and find a G note here, be G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Then we have another G scale on the fifth string. Now if I go to the fourth string and color that in, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Now we have another G scale. And if I go to the third string, you also have a G scale down here, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. On the third string, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. We also have another up here on the third string open. Now, if we go to the second string and find a G note, just right here, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Now we have a scale on that string. And if we play these, starting on the sixth string, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, then we go to the fourth string, then to the second string. Now we have G scales everywhere. Okay. Now, if we write the G scale, and by the way, the notes of the G scale is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. If we start the G scale on E, next note would be E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Now we have a scale on the sixth string. And if we play that, E open, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Now we have a G scale on the sixth string, and that's linear playing. We do every string that way. Find a G scale on every string and play with the guitar neck. Well, when you start moving around, then you're playing linear playing, and you play horizontally. In other words, you can play G here, play with a scale like this, too, with a scale like that. You can play the scale over the whole guitar neck. It gets you where you can move around real good. Okay, so that covers the whole neck of the guitar if you play the scale on every string. Now let's go over and talk a little about the harmonized scale. The harmonized scale, this is a C scale here, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and we numbered it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, that C scale would be here on the fifth string. And you can also do it the same way. You do all your scales, find all your scales on the whole guitar neck. Now, if we take the third tone and stack it on top of the first tone and make a scale, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, just make a C scale starting on E, then we start getting harmony, start building harmony. The first finger on the 5th fret, 5th string. First finger on the 5th fret, 4th string. Your third finger is on the 5th string, 7th fret. See how that moves? Then we got 2-part harmony. Now if we come down here and play and add the 5th tone, which is G, and stack it on top of the triads here, or the note C, it forms a triad. Now if we play that, we get this. G, C, E, G, D minor, and it forms E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C. Now we have harmony. Now, let's look at the harmonized scale chart in the back here. This is all your scales in every key. C, D minor, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's your C scale, harmonized up in 3-part harmony, which forms triads. That's your D flat scale, D scale, E, so forth. You can find all your scales on the guitar neck by finding these notes and playing those patterns. Now, since all these triads here, or these 3-part triads, are made up of the C scale, that means you can play a C scale over C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and C. A C scale will fit over all that. I'll play D minor, E minor, C scale, the scale fits over the triad. Now, we have a G major triad. And a G triad is 1, 3, 5 of the scale. Remember, we numbered our scale. It's G, B, and D. So if I find all the G, B's, and D's on every string of the guitar, then I start finding groups. Little groups will start forming, like G, B, D. And circle those 3 strings. Now see, I have all forms of the G triad on the guitar neck. So I go to the 3rd fret and play G, B, D, E, G, B, G, B, D. So now I got it. And it repeats itself at the 15th fret here. Everything past the 12th fret, the guitar repeats itself. This E note is E open up here. So now I can play the triad this way. On the first 3 sets of strings. Now if I take the next 3 and color those in, and now I got G, B, D, B, D, G, D, G, B. Now I've got those triads on those sets of strings. And if I take the next one and color those in with a different color, you can see all. So I have an orange color here, G, B, D, and we'll take the green and color it in, B, D, G, D, G, B, G, B, D. Now if I play them across this way, I get this. I can play them this way or this way. And that's our G major triads. Now, if you take a major triad, you say, well, why would you want to play a major triad that way? Well, if I make a pattern here by using the triads, I'll play 3 tones here and then play the triad. I'll I'll play 3 tones going to the triad, 3 tones here, 3 tones here. What I do to one triad, I do to the other. It doesn't matter what you do. You can do any kind of note you want just about, and it'll fit like I got. Then I get this sound. I get a country lick. And you make up all kind of runs and everything by using these triads. Now that's your major triad. Now let's talk a little bit about your minor triad. We're going to do it the same way. We're going to color it in. In your minor triad, all you do is flat the B. And so you got B flat and D. That's the only difference. It's a flat third tone. And then you get these forms here when you do that. You can see little groups that it's formed. And that's your minor triad going through. All these are sounds in music that you need to learn. The minor sound as opposed to the major sound. Major sound, minor sound. Very useful in music. Okay, then we go and we color in the next set of strings. And the next set. Oops, drop my color. Okay. Now we color in the next set. We have B flat, D, and G, D, G, B flat, A, B flat, and D. Now, if we play those sounds, I'll just play the first one for you. Pretty sounds. Nice sounds. There's four different types of sounds in this section. Now we have the augmented triad. To make an augmented chord, you sharp the 5th tone of the triad, which is D sharp. You just move it up one, D to D sharp. And you see those groups formed. Now your augmented triad is your easiest one to play. Very simple. You see those groups, how they form? There and there. I'll go ahead and mark all of those. And we'll take a look at it. Circle one, D sharp, G, B. And you don't have to play those things in order either, like 1, 3, 5. You can play them all kind of different ways. And that's what makes the music sound good. By mixing these triads around. Now there's your augmented triads. Now, if I play that, I go to the 7th fret, 11th fret, then I get the augmented sound. And all these sounds are very usable. Very usable. Now we have our major sound, minor sound, augmented sound. That's the difference between them. Now we have one more sound that we're going to cover, and that is your diminished triad sound. Diminished triad, you flat the 3rd and the 5th tone above. You get this sound. That's diminished sound. Diminished sounds are used in the movies. You've heard a train coming down the track and the girls tied the railroad track and the train's coming and you hear this music. can also play it like in the blues. Really nice sound. That was a mixture of diminished and major triads there, with a seventh tone added to it. Now, if we circle these here, you'll start seeing the diminished triad forms. I'll circle those right fast. Whoops, kind of got off there. That one goes there. Sorry about that. And then next we have this one. And this one, that's B flat, D flat, and G, where I made that mistake there. Now, D flat, G, and B flat. And then we have D flat, B flat, and G. Then we have G, B flat, and D flat. Kind of a stretch there. We have B flat, D flat, and G. Now we have B flat, D flat, and G there. B flat, G, and B flat. D flat, G, and B flat. G, B flat, and D flat on that. Now, if you'll learn all these here, and in the next videos, we'll show you how to apply a lot of this. And in the next video, we'll cover the seventh chords and show you how the scales really fit over the chords. So if you will learn all your scales and your triads and really get proficient at your scales, then in the later videos, we'll show you how you can make a lot of music out of scales. Because knowing your scales is where it's at. Scales, triads, and chords. If you know those and proficient at those, you'll have the basics of music. So, I've enjoyed this little session with you, and hope you get my video too. If you've had the first video, then you're ready for this one. And the first thing we're going to do is tune our guitars. We'll start with the E string, a little E string, open, B, G, D, A, E. Now, we're going to continue talking about scales on this video. I'm going to show you every scale, every major scale, and I have them right out here for you. Like the C scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The D flat scale, D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, and D flat. The D scale, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D. The E flat scale, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, and E flat. The E scale, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. The F scale, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. The F sharp scale, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, and F sharp. Have the G flat scale, G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, F, and G flat. G scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. The A flat scale, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, and A flat. The A scale, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. The B flat scale, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, and B flat. The B scale, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and B. And the last one is C flat scale, C flat, D flat, E flat, F flat, G flat, A flat, B flat, and C flat. Now, you have to learn all these scales and be really proficient with them on the guitar. Now I'm going to turn the chart here. And this is the diagram of the guitar neck of all the notes. Now in the first video, remember the G scale that we did? We did G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Now any one of those scales, if you want the D scale, you have a D note here, a D note here, a D note here, a D note here. Anywhere there's a D note, you can start the notes of that scale and just follow the notes. And you'll see those 5 patterns that we had on the first video. You just follow those patterns. And you can learn every scale. Now we're going to continue on here. Okay. Now what I've done here, I've taken a G scale. And you should take all your major scales and do this. It's very important. And I'm showing you the fingering on the G scale of the first string. Now you have 4 frets and 4 fingers. And I'm going to start on the first note, which would be E open, and it's going to be open, no fingers. The second will be F sharp, G, and then A. So I'm going to put fingers 1, 2, and 4. And then the next one, I'm going to double the A note. I'm going to play 4, then I'm going to immediately play 1, 3, 4. And I'm going to change to 1 first finger and 3, 1 and 3, and 1, 3, 4. Now I'm going to play it for you. You can watch me do it real slow. I'm going to go 1, turn my guitar on, 1, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 4. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 4. Now, if you learn to finger the scales this way, you know how you play a G scale, you can play it pretty fast this way. Well, you can play it just as fast. Made a mistake there. And you can get real fast at that, of each string. Now, let's look at the chart again. And when you have 2 notes like this with 1 fret between it, usually it'd be fingers 1, 3, and 1, 3. And when you have 4 frets right like that, it'd be 1, 3, 4. Then 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. You can figure out the fingerings. Now, there will be, this chart will have the fingerings on it, on the cassette in the workbook. So you'll be able to do that. And it gets you where you can move the neck pretty fast. The more you practice, the faster you get at it. Let's go to the next one. Fingering is very, very important in playing the guitar. Now we're going to talk a little bit about key signatures. And we'll discuss this a lot more in future videos. But this is a flat sign. This is a sharp sign. A natural sign. The natural sign will cancel the sharp or flat sign. Like if you have a G note on the guitar, to sharp it you go one that way, and flat it you go one this way. Now if the natural sign appears up and you have a G sharp, then you play a natural G note, move from here to here. That's what a natural sign does. Now, you look at music, you'll see flats and sharps in the music staff. The key of F is 1 flat. The key of B flat is 2 flats. The key of E flat is 3 flats. The key of A flat is 4 flats. The key of D flat is 5 flats. The key of G flat is 6 flats. The key of C flat is 7 flats. The key of G is 1 sharp. The key of D is 2 sharps. The key of A is 3 sharps. The key of E is 4 sharps. The key of B is 5 sharps. The key of F sharp is 6 sharps. The key of C sharp is 7 sharps. So these are your sharp keys over here. These are your flat keys. Now if we look down here at the music staff, you have B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, and F flat. And they're numbered. This is the order they'll always be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If I take my hand and cover these up right here, I have 2 left, so that would be the key of B flat. Same with the sharps. If I cover up every one but these 2 right here, I'd have F sharp and C sharp, which would be the key of D. Now there's a rule to help you memorize this down here. Spell B, E, A, D, G, C, F. B, and add G, C, F to it. The flats go this way, and the sharps go this way. If you have 2 flats, B flat and E flat, here it is right here, B flat, E flat. If you have 7 flats, it's all of these. Sharps, it's backwards. If you have 2 sharps, it's F sharp and C sharp. F sharp and C sharp. If you have 7 sharps, it's all of these. And that is very important for learning to read music. And we'll have a special video on reading music. Now let's move on. In the last video we covered the harmonized scale in 3-part harmony. In this video we're covering the scale in 4-part harmony, which means that we're playing chords that sound like this now. Those type of chords. And before we just played little triads, you know, like. There's a big difference in the sound. That 7th tone added in there. And now we numbered the scale, the chords of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are 1. Now, if I ask you what the 3 chord is to the key of C, or the C scale, you would tell me 1, 2, 3, E minor. If I ask you what the 5 chord is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you tell me G7. Now it gets to a very important thing here. The G7 only appears one time on this chart, where the minor chords, D minor, E minor, A minor, so forth, appear 3 different times. Like D minor is a 2 chord in the key of C. It's a 6 chord in the key of F. It's a 3 chord in the key of B flat. And a C chord appears 2 times, not counting this time. It's a 1 chord in the key of C. It's a 4 chord in the key of G. So when you look at that, like if I have D minor, G7, and C major 7, now all these chords are built up from the C scale. As we discussed that in the other video, first video. And here's the notes. So if I have D minor 7, G7, and C major 7, that means I can play a C scale over those 3 chords. And you can't play a wrong note. It'll sound really nice. I'm going to, later on, I'm going to just demonstrate the scales over the chords. But right now, here's a C chord. Of course, you can play a C scale. sound of it. In B minor 7, play another C scale. Let's do the sound of it. G7. Do the sound of it. Now, there's one thing I want to cover on this chart here before we move on. Drop my stick here. By the way, this is a very informal video, so just kick back and relax and we'll continue. Now, if you notice, I colored some of these in different colors. That's because the 1 chord, the 3 chord, and the 6 chord will intermix when you're playing chords or solo lines. So if I'm playing a C major 7, I can also substitute E minor 7 while the band's playing C major 7. Or I can play A minor 7 while the band's playing C major 7. So if I'm going C major 7, E minor 7, A minor 7, C major 7. I can also play little runs, like I can play a E minor run while I'm playing C major 7 chord. And it's very useful. Now if we look at the blue color, you can see the 2 chord and the 4 chord. They intermix. While the band's playing a D minor or an F chord, you can play F and D minor. Intermix those two. And then you get a real nice sound out of that. Like D minor. The band is playing a straight F chord. You can play D minor. Okay. Now the green color is the 5 chord and the 7 chord. They intermix. The G7 and the B minor 7 flat 5. Actually, the B minor 7 flat 5 is a G9 chord without a G root. So we have G7 sound here. B minor 7 flat 5. G7. Now, if I want to substitute the B minor 7 for the G7 and the E minor for the C major 7, instead of playing G to C major, I can play B minor 7 flat 5 to E minor 7, and I get this sound here. Instead of this. We can substitute those chords. I'm going to move on back here. Now, if you look, see this here now. I have a G major chord here, so that's the 1 chord in the key of G, the G scale, so I'm going to play a G scale over that one. Now, G minor 7 and C9, that's the 5 chord in the key of F. C9 and C7, they both intermix. You can play one or the other in most cases when you're playing a song, and they'll both sound great. G minor 7 is a 2 chord in the key of F, F scale. C9 is a 5 chord, so I can play F scale over those 2 chords. And when I get to G major 7 and G6, I can play a G scale over that. Then here we got G minor 7, C9. That's a 2 chord in the key of F, 5 chord in the key of F. All that whole 4 bars there. So that means I can play an F scale while the band's playing those 4 chords. Now we move on down here. We have A minor, D9. So that's the 2 and the 5 chord in the key of G, if you look at your charts. A scale over B minor 7 and E7. That's the 5 chord of A. Remember, the 5 chord only appears one time, so we look for the 5 chord. A minor 7, D9, G major 6. That's a G scale to the whole thing there. Now we have C minor 7, F9, B flat major 7, B flat 6, and all this is B flat scale. These 8 bars. A minor, D9, G major 7, G6, that's a G scale. And down here we have B7, we look for 5 chord, which is B7. That's in the key of E. So we play the E scale over those 3 chords. Then we go back to the G scale. Now, it's very important to know how to play scales over these chords. And I'm going to show you a little example here. If I have the G chord now, if I play a G chord like 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to make this scale sound like if I play swing music like country western or jazz, I want to make that scale sound like it's going to swing instead of playing just straight eighth notes like this here. I'm going to make it a dotted 16th with an eighth. So I want to go. The old boogie woogie sound. The G scale to an F scale. You want to get that feel. It's very important to get that feel. And it's very important that you play straight eighth notes through this and don't leave any gaps between scale changes. Like if I'm going to play a G scale, jump to the F scale there, I didn't have any gaps, or I didn't stop anywhere. Now, we're going to play some music, and I'm going to play this chart, and we're going to point each beat as we go. So now we're just about ready to start here. Here we go. Okay, now that was playing the scales of the chords. And if you'll practice this every day, and just first really learn the scales of the chords, you'll practice it, you'll see a big improvement in your playing, and before long, you'll be playing runs over any chord progression, once we get through some of the other videos. The next video, we're going to work with the harmonic minor, melodic minor scale, and the pentatonic and the blues scales in the future videos. And we'll show you how to play those against the chord progressions, how to put them together in momentary key centers, how to put feeling into your playing, and express yourself, and control the guitar instead of letting the guitar control you. Put your emotions out into your instrument. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. So, bye-bye for now. about video 3. In this video we're going to cover building chords and a few scales. We're going to get into the harmonic minor, melodic minor, pure minor, pentatonic scales, and blues scales, and show you how they work over chord progressions. And if you study the videos up to this one, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about and what we're working on. Now, if I get this pointer from you here, Joe, you'll see we have the 5 basic chord forms. We have major, minor, dominant, diminished, and augmented. In the major chord, here's your chord symbols, which you've already had in videos 1 and 2. C major, C major 7, C6, C major 13. Then we have the minor form, C minor, Mi, C minor 7, C minor 9, C minor 11. Dominant chord, chords like C7, C9, C13, and so forth. Diminished 7th chord, C diminished 7, remember the circle means diminished 7. Augmented chord, a plus sign means augmented, or C-A-U-G. Now if you notice here, I've taken the C scale, and I went from C to A, because really from C to A is all the musical notes that we use in the C scale to build our chords with. And underneath here, I've numbered each note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. In other words, number 1 is C, number 2 is D, 3 is E, F is 4, G is 5, and so forth. Now, the way we build a major chord, we take numbers 1, 3, and 5, which is C, E, and G. And we play those 3 tones together and we get a C triad, or C chord. If we want a C6 chord, we take numbers 1, 3, 5, and 6, which is C6. If we want a C6, 9, we take numbers 1, 3, 5, 6, and 9. Now, on the 9th tone, the 9th tone and 2nd tone is the same tone. If you look up here, D and D an octave higher is the 9th. So those 2 tones are the same. If you mix all these tones and threw them on the floor and picked up the 2 and the 9th, it wouldn't matter if it was low or high, it'd still be a 9th. If it had a 7th tone in it. Now here we have the 6th tone with a 9th tone. That means that's going to be a 13th chord now. So then it'd be a C major 13. A 13th chord has to have a 7th tone in it before it's a 13th chord. I'm going to repeat that again. A 13th chord, where it would be a C major 13 or a C 13, which is dominant chord, has to have a flat 7th in it or a natural 7th in it before it's a 13th, along with the 6th, because the 6th tone and the 13th tone is the same. Now we build our minor chords. You find the 3rd tone, which is 1 flat 3 5. If you want a minor 6, you add the 6th tone to it. If you want a minor 6 9, it's 1 flat 3 5 6 9. If you want a minor 7th, 1 flat 3 5 flat 7. And then we have a minor 9th down at the bottom here. Now in our dominant chords are like C7, C9, C11, C13, and so forth. 1, 3, 5, flat 7. So a flat 7 added to a triad, which is a 1, 3, 5, makes your dominant chord. This is a C9th here, or a 9th chord. 1, 3, 5, flat 7, and 9. 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11, and 13. Now, if you notice here, there's too many notes on this chord here to put on the guitar. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tones. You've only got 6 strings on the guitar. So when that happens, you can always take out the root or the 5th tone of any chord and still retain the sound of the chord by the 3rd and the flat 7th, 9th, or 13th, or whatever. You can still retain that sound. Now, a diminished chord, diminished has a circle in it. You take numbers 1, you flat the 3rd, flat the 5th tone, double flat the 7th tone, which is the same note as the 6th. If you look at my guitar here a second, I'll show you. Like, take this A tone here, for instance. We double flat A, it would give us G. We go down twice. We double flat B, go down twice, and give us A. So that's what I mean by double flatting a tone. Now, this is basically all you have to know about building chords. Now I'm going to go and show you how they're built on the guitar neck itself. Now, if we look at the guitar neck here, you'll see to build a C major chord, 1, 3, 5 of our scale, it would be C, E, and G. This one up here. C, E, and G. If you look on the guitar neck here, you just circle all the C's, E's, and G's on the whole guitar neck. And you see all kinds of different chord forms beginning to take shape. There's a C chord. Anywhere you play those 3 tones, or you can play them more than 3 tones. You can play a C note there, a G note there, and a double C tone, an E note, a G note there. You can play those 5 tones now, or 6 tones, and you'll get a C chord. It doesn't matter how many times you double them, you still get a plain old C chord. There's one there, C, E, and G open, and E. That's a C chord. There's another C note right there. As you can see, they're all over the place. If you want to make it a minor, a C minor, you just flat the tone. Remember, we go one this way to flat the tone, so E, E flat. So we C, G, C, E flat. And when this here become a minor triad, we just move it down 1. This makes it E flat. So you can build all kind of different chords in any key as long as you know the 1, 3, and 5 tones, what they are. Now the next is a dominant chord, which you have 1, 3, 5, flat 7. So the flat 7th tone of C would be a B flat. So we have C, E, G, and G and B flats on the same string, so that doesn't work. So what did I say a while ago? You can leave out the 1st or the 5th tone. G is the 5th, so leave it out. C, E, B flat. Or unless you'll put the 5th up here, G, C, E, B flat, and then you have a C7th there. See? Okay, now, if we want to build a diminished chord, a diminished 7th, 1, flat 3, flat 5, and 6th. So it'll be C, E flat, or C, G, E flat down here, and an A here would be the 6th tone. So you can build diminished chords all over the place. Anywhere you can find those different combinations, you can build those chords. Then we have what we call an augmented chord, which is your 5th sound. And that is numbers 1, 3, sharp 5, and a flat 7th tone, which gives your augmented sound. So it'd be C, E, G sharp, should be a sharp on that, and a B flat. And that gets your augmented sound. Now I'm going to play these sounds for you and let you listen to them. Just kind of listen to what I'm playing here. Here's a C major sound. Turn my guitar on here. C major sound. Here's a C minor sound. A C7 sound. See, this is called a dominant chord. You'll understand that better later. Dominates the whole scale. C7. Here's your diminished chord. Remember in the movies you hear the train, see the train coming down the track and the girls tied to the railroad track? They're going like that. That's a diminished chord. Now augmented chord sounds kind of strange, but it fits in music very, very well. Different sounds of augmented. If you use augmented chord in context, like from D minor 7, G13, G augmented, C major 9. It's a really nice little chord progression there. So diminishes are very usable, and so is augmented chords in playing music. All these 5 sounds make up the music that you hear when you play. Now you can add extensions to them and get them further out and all that kind of thing, but right now we're just keeping it simple. Now here's a C major 7 chord, to a diminished chord, to a minor 7, to a G7. There's your different sounds. Diminished, D minor, G, C major 7. Okay, that's your sounds. Now, we go up here and we look at this here. One is always the root of a chord. The root of a chord names the chord. So we have a 1 here, 4, flat 7, flat 3, 5, 1, 7, 3, 2, 5, 1, 4, 6, 9, 7, 3, 6, 2, 7 here, 6, 2, 5, 1, 3, 6. Now, no matter where that 1 is, like that, this is chords built from the 6th string on the guitar. So if you start building a chord, you're just like putting a puzzle together. If we start right here on this note, let's say this would be the 3rd fret, then that'd be a G note. So we build all G chords when we build chords from this fret. So if I want to build 1, 3, 5, I'd find 1, 3, and I can't use this 5, so I can use this 5. So 1, 3, 5. And there's a 5 there, there's a 1 there, so I can play 1, 3, 5, 5, 5, or 1, 5, 1. I can play all those tones. And now I get a G chord. If I want a G6 chord, 1, 3, 5, 6. 1, 3, 5, 6. There's a G6 chord. So you can make any combination you want to of chords by using these numbers and learning how to build those chords. Now, down here I put some exercises below here that you can practice building chords. And in your booklet, you'll have exercises that you can use also. So it's just that simple. You just match the numbers. If you want to flat a tone like a flat 7, you find a 7 tone, you flat it. You can mix them any way you want. It's like you can throw these numbers on the floor, pick them back up, and you still got the same chord, no matter what order you put them in. Now let's move on here. We're going to get into scale studies right now. And up to this point, we studied major scales and how they function over chord progressions and how to use them. The first one we're going to study is a harmonic minor scale. And those are notes C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B, and C. Now, it's very important that you know these in half steps. From C, between C and D is a whole step. Between D and E flat is a half step. Between E flat and F is a whole. Between F and G is a whole. Between G and A flat is a half step. Between A flat and B is a step and a half. Now between B and C is a half step. There should be a 2 there, but there's not. Let me put a 2 in there so they'll have that in the video. I'll get it in there. Well, that wasn't very good, but I tried. So that's a half step between B and C. And that's how you want to learn your minors, because you can transpose them in any key by doing that. Now, if you notice, I put the harmonic minor down here, and that's the way they go on the guitar neck. Fingers 1, 3, 4, 3, 4, 2, 3. And if I play that, you can see that half step and whole step. See, there's the half steps right here. And you got whole steps, you can see them. Now I'm going to play this for you. This is a harmonic minor scale. Okay, when we copy this, we also missed a note there. So let me have a pencil. Color that in right there. That's your harmonic minor. And after all, you can't be perfect on these things anyway. So I'll play it again. C harmonic minor. Now the next one we have is a melodic minor. And if you notice, it's C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B, C. Now, should I say, all the lower parts of these minor scales are whole and a half step and a whole step. See? Whole, half, and a whole. Every one of them, your minor scales are. It's the upper parts of them that are different. The upper part of a melodic minor scale is just like a C major scale. It's whole, 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 half. Also, if you want to take any major scale and make a melodic minor out of it, just flat the third tone is all you have to do. And it makes it a melodic minor scale. If I play this scale, it sounds like this. Okay? And that's your melodic minor scale. And you want to learn these scales and move them around. The root tone is right here, so you want to move it up and down the guitar neck. If you know the notes on your guitar neck, you can make all kinds of different minor scales. Just start them with a note. If you want to see a harmonic minor scale, find all the C notes and start the scale there. And find the notes. Now we come to our pure minor scale, our natural minor. It has two different names. Pure minor or natural minor. And the notes of it is C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, and C. Now we have whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. One means whole. And one half. Okay, this is C natural minor scale. And I'll play it for you right now. Later we're going to, I'm going to show you how these fit in chord progressions. But make sure you learn the scales. And move it around to every key. All you got to do is move up and down the guitar neck. Okay? I'll play it one more time. Each one of these scales has its own sound. Now we come to the pentatonic. And a pentatonic scale is a 5-note scale. It's an oriental scale. And all you have to do is take a major scale. And you take out the 4th tone and the 7th tone. And you have a pentatonic scale immediately. So just take a major scale, take out the 4th tone and the 7th tone. Then you have a 5-note scale. And the half step's it is whole, 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 half, whole, whole, half. And this scale is the only scale that sounds melodic when you play it. That's why it's so popular. C pentatonic. Now let's go on. And we come to the blues scale. The blues scale was invented by sadness, by people having sorrow. And it's just a natural way the human beings would express their voice when they sang, when they were sad. That's how the blues was invented. So I'm going to play this for you. Now the blues scale sounds better played backwards because of that B flat tone in it than it does forward. See? Now let's move on here. And be sure to learn all these scales and play them in every key. It's very easy to do that. Just move them down the guitar neck. Now, I gave you an example on the last video. Remember how we had key centers? And we had a D minor 7, G7, C major 7, C6. We knew that a C scale would fit over all those chords because those were in the same key as C. And you have to find out what keys you're playing in. And your harmonic minor scale. Let me talk a little bit about that. Let's say D minor 7, G7. If we alter these two chords, say like D minor 7 flat 5, G7 flat 9, we no longer have a major key when that happens. We have a minor key. And that's where the harmonic minor comes in. It sounds nice over those two chords. It'll also, you can play it over a C minor or a C minor major 7th chord. And this chord will be in your booklet, by the way. All these chords will, so you can use them. And you might want to play through these, and you might want to record all these scales here on a tape recorder real slow and just play the scales over the chords. So record your chords with the metronome and then play your scales over your chords real slow on these exercises here. Now melodic minor, we're going to play it over the 2 chord, which if you're in the key of C, the 2 chord would be D minor 7, so you play a D melodic minor over a G7 chord over a D minor. So in this case, we're in the key of F, C9 is the key of F, which you should have learned in the other video. G minor 7, C9. So we're going to play a C melodic minor over those 4 chords. And that's what you want to do. Record those 4 chords on a tape recorder. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Then you come back and play your scales of that 1 and 2 and 3. Play your scales over that. Then we have a pure minor scale, which you play over C minor 7. You might want to record that. Then we have the pentatonic scale, which will work over many different chords. If I play C pentatonic, it'll fit over all those chords. So you can put them on a tape recorder, you can hear that yourself. I didn't record them for you. Now the next is the C blues, which you can play a C blues scale over any kind of blues progression, like you're playing in C, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So we can work with that. And I'll show you a lot of different things to do. Now we're going to show you how we use these things in a chord progression. Now, we have what we call a momentary key center. That's where you have 2, 5, and 1 chords in the scale. Now, you'll understand that if you study the other videos. So, when it comes to that 1 chord in a chord progression, that is your momentary key center. Like 2, 5, 1, the key of B flat, 2, 5, 1, that's a 1 minor, in the key of G minor. 2, 5, 1, the key of B flat. So that's where your momentary key centers. I marked them in red ink here. Now, every time a momentary key center happens, it'll either be a major chord or a minor chord. So, let's say it happens on B flat major. Well, if it's a major chord, you want to play a pentatonic scale. You can play a major scale there if you want, but it sounds real good to play like a B flat pentatonic over that, like an E flat pentatonic over that, because that's part of the key center. Now, you have a 2, 5 here, the G harmonic minor, we'll say. Now you play G harmonic minor scale over these 2, 5 chords because A minor 7, D7 is in the key of G, so it'd be G minor since it's altered. So we're going to play a harmonic minor scale here. Now we could play a G harmonic minor through this whole thing here, through G minor. But it really adds taste to it if you play the other scale here. So we're going to play G harmonic minor here, move to G minor. Now since it's not G major, if it was G major we would play G pentatonic. But since it's G minor, we're going to play a G blues. And a G blues scale sounds really good when you do that. Now on the minor 7/5/5, D7. G minor. It really adds feeling to your playing when you go by this system. So now we're going down here, same thing here. But it's a very important rule. Momentary key centers. Let me say this again. It's where you have 2, 5, 1 chords in a progression, and it resolves to the 1 chord in the song itself, in the progression itself. That's called the momentary key center. And if it's a major momentary key center, in other words, if it's major chord, you want to use a pentatonic scale. If it's a minor chord, you want to use a blues scale. It really makes it sound modern, jazzy, hip, as they say. So, now down here, I could have used one scale there, but I won't do it at this time. I use, on G minor 9, I use a G melodic minor. On F sharp 9, I use a B major scale for 2 beats, so you got to count 1 and 2 in. And on the F minor 9, I use an E flat scale. And on E9, I use an A scale because it's a key of A. Now on the E flat 9, I use an A flat scale. And then I use a harmonic G harmonic minor on the A minor 7 flat 5 and G 7 flat 9. And then on the G minor, I use a blues scale again because it's the momentary key center of the tune. Now, this time, I think I will let you play through this exercise with the video, and then later I'll, on the next video, I'll play some things over this, because it'll be a good track for you to practice by. You can watch and play over this tape while we point out each beat so you won't get lost. So if you will point that now, we're going to start the music. Okay, thank you. We kind of got off on the first measure there, but you can see that. The main thing is in between the beats there. So you can watch the stick and know exactly where you're at and know what scale you're supposed to be playing. It's a great way to learn. And I hope you've enjoyed these video series so far. And we're going to have them come up on sight reading and just all kind of different things. But if you'll get them all learned, you'll really learn your instrument and learn how to improvise over everything. I want to say that I know on these videos here you're playing just straight scales. But later I'm going to show you how to turn those scales and how to use runs and take the runs you already know and just play them everywhere. And actually all you need is 2 guitar licks to become one of the best players in the country. And I'll show you how to do that in the future videos. So all you have to do is practice and practice and practice, and more practice. That's how you get good. And you might listen to the cassette tape in your car while you're driving. Like I told you before, make it a university on wheels while you're driving down the road. Be learning. So I've enjoyed being with you on this video, and I guess that's all. We'll see you later. Bye-bye for now. Welcome to my video 4. And I hope you've enjoyed the other videos up to this point. And on this video we're going to study, we're going to take one run, guitar run, and we're going to show you how you play it through many different keys and many different places on the guitar. So actually, to be a pretty good guitar player, all you need is a couple of guitar runs, and little bit of knowledge of theory, and you can learn to play a lot of different things and through most any tune. Now the first thing we're going to do today, we're going to learn to play some chords. Now if we look over here at the chart, you'll see an E7 chord, which your first finger is on the 5th fret, 2nd string, and your second finger is on the 4th string, 6th fret. By the way, this is at the 5th fret. That's where it starts. So your third finger will cover, actually it doesn't have to cover the 5th string, it can cover the 6th string. It's kind of dead in that 5th string. And your little finger can go on the 3rd string. So that's the 5th fret, 6th fret, and 7th fret. And that's the E7 chord we're going to be using. And we're going to use these chords to play against the runs that we're going to be learning. Now, the next chord is the A7, and it starts at the 5th fret. It'll be the first finger on the 6th string, second finger on the 4th string, third finger on the 2nd string, and the 4th finger on the 3rd string. Now we're going to deaden the 5th and the 1st string on the guitar. And the next chord we're going to play is the D7 chord, and it starts at the 3rd fret. And we're going to go with our first finger again, second finger, third finger, and 4th finger. It's just like the E7, start on the 5th fret, only move it to the 3rd fret. The next one is a G6 chord, and we're going to put our first finger on the 2nd fret, 4th string, our second finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret, our third finger on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and our 4th finger goes on the 3rd string, 4th fret. Now we look at the B7 chord over here. It starts at the 7th fret. So your first finger goes on the 6th string, 7th fret. Your second finger goes on the 4th string, 7th fret. Your third finger is on the 2nd string, 7th fret. 4th finger is on the 8th fret on the 3rd string. Now if you focus back in here on my guitar, and I'll play these things for you. The E7 chord. Chord right here. You want to deaden this this note right here, and you want to deaden the little E string. It sounds kind of weird open there. And your next chord will be your A7, which gets this kind of a sound. And your next chord is your D7. It's where your first finger's on the 2nd string, second finger's 4th string. Third finger on the 6th string, and your little finger is on the 3rd string. Your next is your G6 chord, which starts at the 2nd fret, your first finger on the 4th string, second finger on the 6th string, your third finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and your little finger on the 3rd string, 4th fret. That's your G6 chord. Now the B7 chord is just like the A7, only move up to the 7th fret. It's the same chord you play it. Now, I want to talk a little bit about playing these chords when you're playing rhythm. If we'll look at the chart over here, you see this chord chart, and this is a chart we're going to be playing, and in the cassette tape we'll have a play-along track so you can play along with these chords and play your run when we get into it. So the E7 chord, we want to play it with a, if you'll come back to the guitar now, you want to play with your wrist kind of like a cobra snake. It's kind of bent like this, and you want to play with a snap in your playing. And you want to focus on the bottom 4 strings of your guitar. This is bottom musically. So you go. Like that, up and down stroke on the guitar. And then when you're playing rhythm, you go. That type of feel. So, jazz feel, country swing feel, Dixieland feel, many different feels by doing that. Now I'm going to play this chart here for you. Run through that with those chords. and you can kind of get an idea of what I want you to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Type of rhythm that I want you to play. And you might also put these chords on a tape recorder and come back and play the runs over it also, if you don't want to play along with the play-along track. Okay, now we go back over here to the chart. And here is the run. Now if you notice, it starts at the 8th fret. And notes are C, B, B flat, A, G, F, E, D, C, B flat or A sharp, A, and G. Now where we're going to play this, we're going to play B flat, A, D, A, G. Now if you follow me back over here to my guitar, I'll play it for you. Real slow, so you can watch what I'm doing. So I'll go C, B, B flat, A, G, F, E, C, D, C, B flat, A, then we're going to let the little finger roll down and touch this note, A, D, roll back up and touch the A, and the G. So now the run sounds like this. Now if you want to slur this run, you can pull off here from the F to E, and it sounds like this. Pull anywhere you have the half step, you can do a pull off, and it makes it sound a lot better by doing that. Now, the first thing we should do is move this run to every possible place on the guitar that we can find, and it starts on a C note. So everywhere there's a C note, we can find this run. I'll go back over here. And if you notice here, we start to run here on C, note on here, and there's another C note right here. And I've colored that in green, so you can see that. There's another C note here, I colored that in brown. Down here, at the bottom, there's another C note, and I colored it in blue for you. Now, if we play this one run together right here, it's going to start sounding like more than one run. Now, if you come back over here, it'll sound like this. Now, if we just play it and finger it that way, it's going to sound kind of choppy when we play it. If I play it, it's going to sound choppy, okay? But if I take and play it this way, when I get to the next run, instead of playing it with the little finger again, I'll play it with the first finger, and let the first finger fall down, and I'll pick, slur, pick, and then little finger, second finger, first finger, third finger, first finger, little finger, pick, slur, open, third finger, open. Now it'll sound smoother when I play it. It's a very important concept in connecting. Yes, by pick, slur, pick, the run. And it sounds like this. You want to do that over and over and over. And then here's what the run sounds like when you connect it. It gets a much smoother sound than it would if you just grabbed the fingers. And you can play the run up here on the 13th fret. I have to alter your fingers. Then another C note's right here, so you can do pick, slur, pick. And carry it on down the neck if you want. Now that covers most of the guitar neck with that one run. And it'll really sound nice. So let's go back over here. Now, also on that one run, we have arpeggios that are in that run. And remember when we studied key centers before? I'm going to move this here over. And how this is our different keys, and we've studied in the other videos. And the C was a 1 chord, D was a 2 chord, E minor was a 3 chord, F was a 4 chord, G was a 5 chord, and A minor was a 6 chord, and B minor 7 5 was a 7 chord in the key of C. Okay, let's say if we take, let's go down here to say a C7, that's what our run is. These arpeggios, G minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, are all in that C7 chord. Pardon me, I have to move this here over a little bit here. And if you will analyze the C7 run, you'll find that all the notes of these arpeggios and every one of these chords here are in that C7 chord. So that means by learning these arpeggios right here, then you have other things to play with that run. So it says here that this starts at the 8th fret, and you follow the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the root of it. In other words, that's movable right there. You can move it all over the place. And this here starts at the 8th fret, and you play that. And this starts at the 6th fret. It's the same pattern as this one, only move it down to the 6th fret. And then this here starts at the 5th fret, which is another pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see the shape of it there. Then you have the 5th fret here, and you see the shape of that. Now, I'm going to play these for you, and you can hear what they sound like. That's a C7 chord right there. Check it out. So you get that sound. It's a very nice sound. And if you learn these, they're kind of hard to learn, but if you learn them, then you can intermix it with the run. If I'm going to play part of the running part of the arpeggio, I'm going to go my C7 run, A minor arpeggio, G minor arpeggio, D minor, C7 run. Then I can play the runs backwards by starting backwards on the run. Now that gives us a lot of things to play. Now, by playing this arpeggio backwards, you start here. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're going to play it frontwards, you start here and go backwards this way with this note, with the first note of the run. And if you learn these, it'll really change your playing. Now, also, remember we talked about key centers in the other videos. And if we look here at the 5 chord, that means C7, I can play F major 7, G minor 7, C7, any one of these chords here. Let me get this chart here for you right fast. Go. I'm getting kind of sloppy. Although this is an informal video, so. Okay. Now, if we look at this E7 chord up here, that means I can move that C7 run, instead of starting it on C, instead of starting the run on C, I can move up here and start on E. Now I have an E7 run. And at first, you want to start these runs on the first string. So, if it says E, then I'm going to start it on E note on the 12th fret. If it says A, I'm going to start it on the 5th fret on the guitar. If it says D, I'm going to start it on the 10th fret. Now if it says G, D7 is in the key of G. It's the 5 chord. We talked about that in other videos. It's the 5 chord. So I can play a D7 run against a G6 and a G6 here and a D7 here. So I can play a D7 run through this 8 bars right here. And it's going to sound super nice. And then the A7, I started the run on the 5th fret and just play the run. And on the D7, I started on the 10th fret and just play the run. On the E7, it starts on the 12th fret and just play the run. The 5th fret, play the A7 run. 10th fret, 7th fret, play the B7 run. The E7, 12th fret, A7, 5th fret, and here again we play the D7 run against the G6 and the D7. And that really sounds nice. It's a D7 run against a G6 chord. Now, if you'll follow my fingers for a minute. If we say we've got an E7 chord, I'm going to move the run to the 12th fret. Now, if you will learn that run and connect it together, you can play it, make it longer like this. Like move it to E, go pick, pick, slur, pick, pick, slur, pick. Now I'm going to play that for you. That's all E7 because I connected and run together from that first page we had over there, or the other page. And A7, same way. Where the run starts, take it as far as you can. Now on arpeggios, if it's an E7, you start on the E note and just move the pattern. It just follows right in order, just like we did a while ago, starting on C for the C7 chord. They just follow a pattern. And if you run them through these progressions, you'll get a really nice sound. For instance, the band's playing E7. You're going. Then you go to A7, 5th fret, D7. When you play G6, keep the D7 run going. Okay? And those runs fit fine. So if you will learn those 2 runs, it'll give you a lot of things to do. And also, by building chords, we had a lesson building chords before. If you will change the notes in here, instead of making a C7 run out, if you flat the 3rd tone in the run, make an E flat instead of E natural, you get a C minor 7 run with the B flat in it. That sounds minor by playing that 3rd tone in the run. I'm getting a pop here in my video, but that's okay. Okay, so now if you want to make it an augmented run, you just sharp the 5th tone in it. And make sure that all the G's are sharped. So you got C, B, B flat, A, G sharp, F, E. Now the run becomes augmented to the C7. And if you'll alter it to the 5 basic chords, like the major, the minor, the dominant, which is already dominant, diminished and augmented, you will really have a lot of different runs there that you can use. And then if you have a tune, all you got to do is change the run and move it up and down the neck. If you want an E7, if you want an E minor, just flat the 3rd tone in the run itself. And it all becomes a pattern after a while. And it really will turn your playing around if you understand what I'm telling you here. And you can take any tune and take one run and play it through that whole tune if you know how to alter the notes in the run to make it those 5 different chord types. And it just makes playing a lot simpler. If you do 10 really nice runs, and I've given you I think quite a few runs. I don't know if I have or not. I forget what I get in these videos. But if you don't have them now, you'll have them as we go along. You'll have a lot of nice runs that you can use. Now, just by using these here, these two runs, the 7th run and the arpeggios, you can learn to play a lot of different things. Now, in the little booklet that we're putting with this video, it'll go more in detail on these runs. It'll show you how we broke these runs down to make them major, minor, augmented, and so forth. I'll break them down for you. And that way you can use them. And there's one more thing I want to cover, and that has to do with the chords. Now, if you notice here, this is the same chord progression as we just had, except I took the E7 and I moved it over here. I took the A7 and moved it over here. So I'm putting the 2 chord in the chord chart in front of the 5 chord. You can do this on any tune. You can just move the 5 chord over. If you got 2 measures of 5 chords, move it over 1 measure and put the 2 chord in front of it. And then you get a much nicer sound. In the A7, I put the 2 chord E minor, which is the key of D. The 2 chord in the key of D, I moved it in front of the A7. So let me say this one more time. If you have 2 measures of the 5 chord, you move the 5 chord over and put the 2 chord in front of it. And it gives you more chords to play. And now it sounds like this. You got the B minor 7, E7, E minor 7, A7, A minor 7, D7, G major 7, G6, and so forth. And it gives you a lot more chords that you can play out of your head when you're playing new tunes you never played before. So that then you can, in the same runs, will fit over those chords. Like you take B minor 7, E7, just play the run starting on E. And the same run fits both chords. The A7, play the A run. And it works very well. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, you can call me. The number's on the packet. And I really enjoyed doing this for you, so bye-bye for now. Welcome to my video number 5. And on this video we're going to cover runs, how to play lines over chord progressions, and make use of the scale things that we learned in the last videos. We're going to start out by learning a nice kind of a jazz run, and that it's a C7 run. It starts on the 8th fret with your little finger. Then you go with your 3rd finger on the 7th fret, your 2nd finger on the 6th fret, your 1st finger on the 5th fret, 1st string. So the first 4 notes is like this. Learn those first 4 notes really well before you get to the next ones. Then it goes to the 8th fret with your 4th finger. Then the 2nd finger goes to the 6th fret, 2nd string. And your 1st finger goes to the 5th fret, 2nd string. And your 3rd finger goes to the 3rd string, 7th fret. Your 1st finger goes to the 5th fret, 3rd string. And your little finger goes to the 4th string, 8th fret. And your 3rd finger goes to the 4th string, 7th fret. Now right here's a little trick. Instead of picking the finger up and lifting over to the next string, we're going to just let it fall over to the 3rd string. And then fall back over to the 4th string on the 7th fret. Then your 1st finger goes to the 5th fret, 4th string. Now here's what you've got. I'll play it slow for you. Now if you notice on the notes on the 2nd string on the 6th fret and 5th fret, I'm going to pull off there. finger, just pull that note off. So now we got this. Plays over a C7 chord. Now let's go over here and look at our chart. And I've drawn it down here for you so you can see how it moves in numbers. Now just the order that the notes go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's the order that you play the notes. And that's a C7 run. It's not written in there, but it is. And this run can be used a lot of different places. I'm going to change charts here. Just throw that down there. Now we have a D minor 7 run. And here again, it's the 5th fret here. So we start at the 7th fret with your 3rd finger and just follow the numbers. 3rd finger here, 2nd finger here, and 1st finger here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And that's the order of the run. Now if you come back over here, I'll show you how the run works. I'm not going to tell you every note and every finger and every string on this one because I already showed you what fits. So I'm going to play it real slow for you. Now when you have like 3 notes in a row, like on numbers 9, 10, and 11, you can pull off one of those notes. It don't matter which one. It gets a nice sound. Now the run sounds like this. It's over a D7 chord. And I'm going to go through about 5 runs here before we start showing you how to use them in your playing. So we'll go back to the chart. I'm going to have a new run here. This is also a C7th run. And we'll call this pattern 2. It's a lot better when you memorize these in patterns. So it starts at the, also it's on the 7th fret, so you count 7, 8, 9, 10. So it starts on the 10th fret on the 4th string with your little finger. And you follow numbers again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's the order of the notes. Now, I'll play that one for you. And it sounds like this. Plays over C7, C13, C9, whatever. Any kind of C dominant chord and fit over it. Now, let's move on here. The last one, next to the last one, is called pattern 2A. It fits over a G7 chord, or D minor 7. And there's quite a few numbers on this one. So you got to take it real slow, and a few numbers at a time. It starts at the 2nd, so this is the 2nd fret here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Starts at the 8th fret with your little finger. And you just follow numbers there again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. It's a long run. So you got to take 2 or 3 notes at a time until you can get the run down. Now I'll go ahead and play it for you real slow. And this run is hard to play slow for some reason. It's got so many notes in it. And here we go. With the little finger, I'm starting the 8th fret. Over G7 chord. This is a real nice run when you play it. It's a nice flowing sound. Now let's move on to the charts here. This one here is a G7 or G augmented run, and it's got the less numbers in it of all, but it's the hardest because it covers the whole guitar neck like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'll play that run for you. It starts with your little finger. Play. This run is really hard to play. Basically, this. That's the way the run plays. That's slow. The other way was fast. You have to practice these things because some of them are very difficult. And when you get them, when you play them though, they sound really nice. And that's pattern 3A. So we're going to move on. Now, I've taken this from the last video. And these are for E flat major 7. We're going to play an E flat pentatonic scale, a C scale over the D minor G7, which that's your key center. And the C blues we'll play with the C minor 7. And over the 2-5, the key of A flat, we're going to play an A flat scale. And over the key center here, we're going to play an A flat pentatonic. And a G flat scale over this key center. E flat pentatonic. A B flat scale over this one. An E flat scale over this because B flat's a 5 chord and F minor's a 2 chord. E flat pentatonic here because it resolves to a key center. 2-5, a C scale over these 2 chords because that's a 5 chord in the key of C, that's a 2 chord. The C blues, which makes that 1 chord in a minor key. 2-5 in the key of A flat pentatonic. 2-5, we'll play a G flat scale over that. E flat pentatonic, a G scale over this one. And down here we have an E flat pentatonic over the E flat 6-9, a G scale over the D9, a G flat scale over the D flat 9, an F scale over C9, and E flat scale over these 2 chords here because it's 2-5 in the key of E flat, and E flat pentatonic over the E flat 6. Now, when you're playing over these chord progressions, anytime you have dominant chords like D minor 7, G7, then you can go to your runs. You can play, let's say, the D minor 7 run we learned. Pattern 2A, I believe it was. That fits over a G7 chord. And instead of just playing a regular scale, a C scale, which you can play, that's a C scale, you can play the run now. Now you get some shape in your playing. It sounds really nice. Let's take pattern 1, where we start on C. That was the root. The C note was the root of the run, so if you want to play over G7, move all the way up here where there's a G note. Play the same pattern. It fits over D minor 7, G7. You can also put on another set of strings. Like you start on a G note on the 2nd string. And you can play it there. Now, let's go back and talk about the first run. Everywhere there's a C note on the guitar neck, you can play that run. Or you can play a piece of that run. For instance, there's a C note here, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here, and there's one here. So, if I play the run here, I can jump to here. If I change the finger just a little bit, I can play the run there, or I can play the run here and stop in the middle of the run. Or I can play the run down here. Or I can play the run here. Come down the guitar neck like that. Now, if I play the run and jump from the fingering, like from C note to this C note with my little finger, it's going to sound kind of spaced apart, like you can feel that jump from there to there. But if you use your first finger and slur, like pick, pick, slur, pick, in other words, you're going to play like this. When you get to the next pattern, just let your finger fall down, pick, pick, slur, pick. That's a very important concept right there for connecting. Pick, pick, slur, pick. So every time you come to that different C note there, you want to pick, pick, slur, pick. And it gets a really nice sound like it. And it connects everything together real smooth for you. So you can take any one of those runs that I played for you and start them on every note that the run starts on. Like it starts on G, start on every G note on the guitar neck and find the same notes and play it there. And then pretty soon you can find all you need is 2 guitar runs. You can play over the whole guitar neck, just everywhere, by doing that. And now, if we go back to our chart, when we come to a key center, in other words, where it resolves to a key, instead of playing a pentatonic scale, which we can do, or a blues scale, which we can do, we want to use arpeggios. And right now we're going to cover arpeggios. And these are the neatest things in the world to learn. What I've done here, I numbered the arpeggio, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I circled the chord that fits the arpeggio. So you follow the numbers to play the arpeggios, you play the circles to play the chord. So now, come back over here, I'm going to play the arpeggio for you. That's the arpeggio, and here's the chord that fits it. It's a nice sound. It's a C major 9 arpeggio. Now, if we look at the next arpeggio, it's a C major 9 arpeggio, but it's in a different fret. This starts at the 7th fret. So it'll be 7, 8, 9, 10. So you would start your little finger there and just play the little finger, 3rd finger, 2nd finger, 1st finger, and the 4th finger would play that note. So you can start your 2nd finger there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll show you what it looks like on the guitar. So we're going to play it like this. It sounds like that. There's another place to play the same one up here. Now you got 2 places to play it. Later we connect those together. Now let's look at the other arpeggios. That's your major arpeggio sounds. Now here we have a minor 9th arpeggio sound. There again you follow numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the circle, that's the chord. So now let me show you that one, how that works. Here's the sound of the arpeggio. And here's the sound of the chord. Really super nice sound. Also fits against a G13 or a G7 also. Now if we look down at the bottom, we have another form of it, which is a G minor 9 arpeggio. And you follow numbers on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the circles, that's the chord. And I'll show you that one, how that works. Okay, so on the guitar, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And your chord would sound like this. The G major 9 arpeggio. Really nice sounding arpeggios. Now let's go back to the chart. I'll get John to hit me out here, John. This video is very informal. So we're here not to. We're not here to present a $10,000 video. We want to make sure you learn something. So that's where we're at right now. Now let's go back to the chart here. This is a G7 arpeggio, and that's the chord, the circles. And the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's your arpeggio. Now let me play it for you. Here's the chord. And the arpeggio is. Okay, now let's go down and look at the next one. And this is really not an arpeggio. Here's just a run that I'm going to tie these two together with. It's a G7 pattern. And you take your third finger and you play the number one here with your third finger. You slur the third finger from there to there. And then it'll be your little finger here, your first finger here, and your second finger on 4. So let me show you how that works here. You take your third finger, you slur. Play it that way. Now I'm going to play both of them together over the G7 chord. Get that kind of a sound. Really jazzy type of sound. Now, let's go back to this chart right here. Now, when you have a key center that's resolved, like the E flat major 7 here, you can play an E flat major arpeggio by moving those arpeggios up and down the guitar neck. You can find the root of the arpeggio, which is usually on the 5th or 6th string, or where the arpeggio starts. And say here, the D minor 7, you can play one of those runs, and when you get to C minor here, you can play a C blues scale, or you could play one of those minor arpeggios, and it would sound pretty nice. I'm going to show you the way that works here. If I play a piece of the run, say, I went into the blues scale, now I'm going to go to the arpeggio. So we start adding little different sounds in there with your music. And when you move these runs around the guitar neck, just according where they start, to find the key, like the C7 run. The C7 run started on C, so it'd be C7, so that would be in the key of F. So if your chord was G minor, C7, you could play the run, C7 run, and you could take the arpeggio, the C arpeggio with the root was on the 5th string, move it to the 8th fret, which makes an F arpeggio now because the root is on the 8th fret. So now I can play the C7 run over the 2 and the 5. When I get to the 1 chord, I can play the arpeggio. So now I got. Now I've got that sound, which makes a really nice thing to play when you're playing, especially over tunes. And these are very useful tools that you can use in your playing. And all you have to know is the key centers. Remember, you have tension and release in music. On the 2 and the 5 chord, you have tension. Release is when you release to the 1 minor chord or the 1 major chord. And that's where the release part is where you play your arpeggios. And the tension part is where you play your dominant runs, like your C7, your G7, your D minor. And when you intermix those things, you really get nice sounds. Now if I make, say, the C7 run, I'll play it there, and the other C7 run that I showed you right there. And I come up here and I get a C7 run by moving this G run up to start from the C note. Now I tie them all three together. Now I've got longer lines starting to work here. My lines start getting longer by tying those 3 runs together. And on the next video, we're going to use the chromatic scale and show you how to tie your runs together a little bit better with the chromatic scale, and how to phrase, which is going to be a very important thing in your playing once you get all these runs down. And the booklet will tell you a lot more than the video, or show you a lot more than the video shows you as far as the runs go. It will clarify some things if you have questions. And the cassette tape will have even more. Now, I want to thank you for watching this video, and right now we're going to say bye till next time. My video 6, continuation of video 1 through 5, and I hope you enjoyed the videos up to this point. In this video we're going to study phrasing and how to use scales and arpeggios when you phrase, to make music out of all the things we've learned to this point, instead of having a bunch of theory and a bunch of technical exercises that you can't use. Really, all music is melodic forms are phrased. Melodic phrase is like a question and answer, like two people talking in a conversation, where one says one thing and one says the other. A musical phrase might be like one might say that while the other one would go. Put them both together. It's like a question and answer. Now, Bill, if we go over here to the chart, go right down here. Here's a G7 run. You'll zoom in on this for me. I'm going to play this run for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it'll sound like this. Now, if you watch my fingers here, I'll play it for you. Now that's your first question, or the first person speaking. Second person speaking, if we go back to the chart, we'll see your third finger will play the number 1 here. I got the run number 1, 2, 3, 4. But the third finger will slur this right here. And your fourth finger will play the 2, and your first finger will play the 3, and your second finger will play the 4. Now let's go back to the guitar neck. And I'll play it for you. Third finger, little finger, first finger, second finger. So this run sounds like this. Now that's your answer. Now your question was this. Your answer was. Now let's combine them both together, and here's what we got. It's a nice phrase there. And you have to practice that and get it down. And any 2 runs you know, you can do that with it. Say, for instance, some of the runs we played in the first videos, like maybe this arpeggio here. Combine with here's the first one. Second one. It makes sense because you're answering your question or your answer. Now, if we go over here to our chart, let's tear off of here. It's like 2 people talking conversations. You have what we call 2 motifs. A motif is just an idea. A motif could be anything. It could be a triad, like just 3 little notes. And you might answer it with another 3 notes, or maybe 4 notes. So if I go 1, 2, 3, that's your answer. Here's your question. You're answering, and it becomes ideas then. Now, another thing you can do to get this thing going is you might number your scales. Like you have a scale which is like a C scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You might play the first 3 numbers. 1, 2, 3, then play the next 3 numbers. The next 3 numbers. So you might go. And you can play 3 numbers, 2 numbers of the scale, anything you want. I might play 3 numbers, then 2 numbers, then 1 number. You can phrase the scale any way you want. We're kind of getting glare on the numbers down here. But that's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 3, 2, 1. Let's move on. Now we're going to talk about approach notes from one note of the scale. The note I have circled here with the X, that would be our main note. I could pick any note of the scale we want, or an arpeggio, or any note of a chord, and we'll approach it. We'll go away one note, and then come back around and approach two chromatic tones to the note. Now let's get on my guitar here. We'll zoom in on here, and I'll show you. If I say I take an E note of that C scale, put my third finger there, I'll let my little finger go up one note, and then two notes back to the E note. Now here's what I get when I do that. And I'm working off that one note. Now, if we get down here, we've got a double chromatic approach up to the note. So that means I'm approaching the note, the E note, two notes to the E note. Now I've got this here. And any chord that has that E note in it, you can get the sound of that chord by approaching the E note that way. If it's an A minor 7, a G13 has an E note in it. Now, if we go to the next one, we go away from our main note, and we go to a lower tone, any lower tone below it, and then approach it back to the note we started out with. So it would look like this. We go one up, low, then two down. See? That's called lower neighboring tone, or lower tone. Now, the next one at the bottom down here, you have an upper tone that you can do the same thing with. You go away from the note one, then upper, then back to the note, going up to it, two notes. So here we go. And you can play over the whole guitar neck just with those ideas right there and sound pretty good over chords. You can take any note out of the chords you want. Just take the triad, for instance, 1, 3, and 5. You can approach the 3 by going one note up, two notes back, down to it, and then approach down to the 5th tone of the triad. So I've got this here now. And any chord that has a note in it, like a B flat 13 has a G note, which is a 5th of the C tone. So you go, and that can be a C chord, any note, any G note, or any chord that has a G note in it, you can play that run off of that. So it really doesn't matter. You're playing off the note of the chord. And that way you can take the scale. If you know the scale and know how the scale fits over the chords, then you can play all kind of ideas just by using that. And also you have an E note here, you have an E note here on the guitar, an E note up here. Now I want to approach this, I'll go up one, back down, or up, back down to the note, then approach this E note here with that. Now I want to approach this one up here, like that, so I go. Then you start making up your own runs by doing that. Now, move the chart over here. Now what we're going to do here, I'm going to draw, which I need a pencil, I forgot to get one. A black felt pen, and I would put a note here, and a note here. That's an A triad right there. Now, if I go down here, and I find an E minor triad, that's A, B, C, D, E, G, B, which is an E minor triad. Now what we're going to do now, we're going to put together what we call a chromatic connection. It's using a chromatic scale. And a chromatic scale is more 5 notes in a row, no more. Sometimes you can use 6, but very seldom. And we're going to approach this note with, let's see, how many notes? 1, 2, 3. Approach it here, starting with these tones. Every note, we're going to approach this note like this. And then we're going to approach from this note here. So we're going to go this way, and we're going to go this way, and this way. To approach that with what we call a chromatic connection. And when I play it real slow, I get this here. So da 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 da. Then I go right here to the E triad. Here's what I got. See. Now I have that kind of run with these chromatic tones to connect these two triads together. Now I've got this kind of a sound. I'm going to turn my guitar on. It makes a really nice run. You can connect any run with chromatic tones and make it sound good. You can play a little run like it's anything. You just play the tones up to it, and it makes really nice sounds. Now, when you're connecting your scales and your runs together, it's best to go up or down a fourth or fifth, or a whole step, or half steps. And if you want real closeness in your lines, make your next move no more than a whole step or a half step away. In other words, if I'm playing this run, these triads, my next run should be no more than a whole step away. So I might go back to my E minor triad. See? I just played chromatically down is all I did. And that makes your playing really sound nice and smooth. I was going to draw out some more ideas here for playing these runs. If we look at this here, let's take a triad. Put our second finger here, our first finger would play here, here, and here. That's a G triad. And then the next triad would be at the 7th fret, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you'd play it like this. Let's see here. 7th fret. 2 and 3. You have that triad there. Now I play the first triad like this. There, 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 and there, and there, and there. Or here, here, and here. So I play like this. Now, if I want to connect this chromatically, I can play these tones here. I go da 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 da. And it makes a smooth connection. By using chromatic tones, you can connect any run that you have together and still retain the sound of the chord form that you're playing. And that's why we would connect there. And it changes your playing completely. It gives you a lot more things to play. Now, this here, we have our G scale, F scale, and G scale over these chord forms, which we studied in the other videos. Now, say I have a G scale here, playing over the G chord, F scale over the G minor and C9, and a G scale over the G major and G6 chord. So I have just my plain scales. Now I might want to phrase that like my G scale. I might want to go. So I want to do my conversation thing now. My scale might play 2 notes up and 1 note back or something like in the first measure. 1 and 2 and 3. See? Then the next one I might want to play 2 notes in the F scale. Then I might want to play 3 notes in the G scale. So I go. Now I'm starting to phrase by the question and answer thing, which is very important. If you listen to music, that's all you'll hear. Now another thing that's very, very important is 1-bar phrases, 2-bar phrases, and 4-bar phrases. A 1-bar phrase would be like a 2-bar phrase would be like a, and a 4-bar phrase would be like. The phrases get longer. Your musical phrases get longer. It's like talking on a conversation before you take a breath. It's the same thing as punctuation marks in the sentences and everything. And that's the beginning a lesson on phrasing. Now phrasing is very, very, very important in music. If I'm playing a tune here of some type, or just anything, my phrasing has to be there. If I'm playing a blues thing. See, my first thing was my question, my answer. Question, answer, question, answer. Just listen for that. Question, answer, question, answer. Now let's get into 4-bar phrases. Bar, 1 bar, 2 bar, 1 bar. Okay, now, do you hear how I would play 2 parts, a question and an answer, every time? That's all music is, nothing else. It's just like talking, 2 people. One person says a word, the other person answers. Or he says, hello, hello, how are you? Same thing. Now let's play that again, listen for it this time. partition with chords, and I built into playing notes. Now, if chordal tones. Now, if I start out by playing single notes, I'm building in my solo when I build in the chords. So I go Wes Montgomery, a great guitar player, he would build from singles lines into octaves and then go into chords. But you can build all kinds of different ways. Start with single lines first, you might play double time after that, then build into triads. And go into bigger chords. I'm going to start out by playing just single notes, then a few octaves, then some triads, and then build my chords bigger and fuller as I go into the solo. That way it's building more and more as we get into it, okay? So here we go. Notice how I'm playing just a few notes. And a little bit more notes as I go. Now we'll start building longer lines. Long in there. Build octaves. Building. Triads. Triads. 4-note chord. 5-note. 4-note. Oh, 6 notes. My solo is starting to build now, as I'm building fuller chords. I start out with single notes and build as I go. Okay, so if you listen to what I was saying and take these techniques and work with them, you can become a great soloist and really learn what you're doing and make some sense when you play music. I hate to walk into a club and just hear the pentatonic scale going all the time, you know, with nothing else. Nothing's happening. You can play a short solo and still build within that solo. Especially if you're in a jam session where you can really play. Well, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Welcome to my video 7. In this video, we're going to talk about subbed chords and approach chords, and which will improve your chord playing tremendously. And now let me get my guitar here. We'll have a lot of fun in this video. Get my guitar on, turned on here. For instance, if I have a plain C chord, then that means I can transpose a couple other chords that sounds really nice with that C chord, which is the 1 chord. And for my 2 chord, which is D minor 7 in the key of C, I can transpose, I can sub another chord for that, which sounds very nice in my 5 chord, which is G7. I can transpose another chord for that. And I don't care what song I'm playing in, I can make the song sound much better by using subchords, or substitution chords as we call it. Now if we go over to the chart, let me get my charts ready here for you. And we look at this chart. At the top of this chart here, Bill, can we get the chart in a little bit better? Okay. If you, have a stick over there. Get my pointer here so we can point these things out. If I look here, we have a C major 7 chord right here. And it runs over here to this one right here. Now you notice I have a little slash right in there that separates the other 2 chords from the major 7s. So I have C major 7, I have a slash running to E minor 7, and I have a slash running to a G7. I mean A minor 7 right here, sorry. So it's A minor 7, E minor 7, and C major 7. Now what that's telling us is that a C major 7 chord can sub for an E minor or an A minor, especially when you're playing your favorite songs. For instance, if I'm playing a C major 7 chord, if I'm playing a C major 7 chord, I can sub an E minor 7 chord or a minor 7 chord for those 3 chords. C major 7, A minor 7, E minor 7. I can sub all 3 chords together, and that's my 1 chord. That's sub for my 1 chord. Okay, if I take my 2 chord, which is a D minor 7, I can sub F major 7 for that chord. So I can play a D minor 7 and an F major 7. So if my chord is D minor 7, I can play the F major 7, F major 9. You can sub all kind of chords in for your major chord, for the F chord. F major 9, F major 7, F major 7 with the 5th on the top. That's a nice sound. Now that takes you to the 2 chord. So remember now, the 1 chord you can sub the 1, 3, and 6. And for the 2 chord you can sub the 2 and the 4. Now for the 5 chord, which is your G7, you can sub, the G7, that goes over to here, so you can sub the B minor 7 flat 5 for the G7 chord. So you get this sound here, B minor 7 flat 5, G7. That sound. So now, what we've basically done here, we've subbed the 1, 3, and 6 chord, and the 2 and the 4 chord, and to the 5 chord we sub the 5 chord and the 7 chord, and for the 2 chord and the 4 chord, and for the 1 chord we sub the 1, the 3, and the 6. Now, if I have a chord progression like D minor 7, G7, C major 7, I can sub, like for D minor 7, I can sub F major 7, F major. For the G7, I can sub the B minor 7 flat 5. So now instead of playing D minor 7, G7, and C major 7, I can play F major 9, B minor 7 flat 5, to C major 7. And I got a different sound, see? My 2 chord, F9, minor 7 flat 5, which is a 5 chord, to the C major chord. Or I can go, instead of playing C major 7, I can play E minor 7. So I can go like this. I can go F major 7, B minor 7 flat 5 for the 5 chord, and E minor 7 for the 1 chord. And A minor 7, C major 7. So it gives you all kinds of different chords to use when you're subbing. Now, let's go on over here and look at another chart we have. And it says here, also, you can take, like in the key of G, you can take the 2 and the 5. If you have say a 5 chord right here, say if the C9 was right here, in this case, if the C9 was here, we could put the 2 chord in front of it and have 2, 5 right there. And it'll sub, the 2 and the 5 will sub for each other too. So, that's a way to look at it. So that's where you says here you can always move the chords over 2 spaces and add a 2 chord. So if you have the C9 here, always move it over to 2 spaces here, blow. Got the C9 here, you can always move the C9 over 2 spaces and add the 2 chord there. And you can add the 6 chord with the major 7th. In other words, if you have a major 7th chord, you can, if you got 8 beats of G major 7, you can also add the 6 chord in there most of the time, unless it conflicts with the melody. You can add that chord in and have all kinds of different sub chords going on there. Now, if you'll pay attention to these techniques here, it'll be a tremendous thing for you. Now, if we look at this chart here, it's showing you this in plain English. I'm going to go over this again. The 1 chord, C major 7, the 3 chord, and the 6 chord, which is A minor 7. Those 3 subs for the 1 chord. So you might write this down, or it's probably in your pamphlet, in your booklet. The 1, the 3, and the 6, sub for the 1. So if I'm playing just beats of a C major 7, like this, in the C chord, I can sub E minor 7 for it, A minor 7, E minor 7, C major 7. They all sub for C major 7. Okay? And the band's just playing a C major 7 chord, and that's what I'm subbing for the C major 7 chord. Now, if we look over here to 2 chord, we have a 2 chord, which is D minor 7, and the sub for it would be an F major 7. So those 2 sub for each other. Now, if I'm playing a modal type of thing, or like a D minor 9, D minor 7, D minor 11th, I can sub any type of F major 7 chord I want over those minors. So if I'm playing a modal thing like a all kind of different subs by using your major 7th for the D minor. So you got all kind of different subs there you can use in place of 2 chord. And that really works well in playing. Gives you something to do besides sounding sterile, like playing the same old chord all the time. Now, let's go over here and look at the 5 chord. I have a G7, and its sub is the 7 chord, which is a B minor 7 flat 5. And those 2 chords sub for each other. And any form of G7 or B minor 7 flat 5, and I think you have some forms in your booklets up to this point on 5/5 chords. So that's your G7, G7 to B minor 7 flat 5. They sub for each other. Now, if we're playing a tune where we've got 2, 5, 1, say we've got 1 bar of 2, 1 bar of 5, 1 bar of 1, or 2 bars of 1. We can just sub the place and it sounds really nice instead of going like this. Plain and simple. Now what we're going to do now is I'm going to add some of the subchords in on just the 2 chord alone and play the same thing I just played, but just adding 2 chord subs on the D minor. And later we'll do the G7 and C major 7, but here's the 2 chord. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, let's do the 5 chord with the 2 chord subs also. And then we're really getting some things going here for you. Play D minor 7, F major 7, F major 9, F major 7, D minor 7. Now the sub for the 5 chords: G, diminish, half diminish, B minor 7, flat 5, G7, then C, then E minor, A minor for C. Now let's add these subs in there and see what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 chord, the 2 chord, the 5 chord now. 5 chord, now the 1 chord. Now that gives you a lot of different things to do just with those 2, 5, 1 subs. And it'll change your chord playing completely if you get into that and learn it. Now, we're going to go into some and show you the subchords. Here we have a G minor 7. And you have a B minor 7 here. I don't know why the B minor 7's there.
Recorded.
It won't work. Okay. This here is a 3 chord of the G minor 7. And this is a G minor 7, which is sub the B flat major 7, which is the 4 chord, both sub. And then you have C7, E minor 7, flat 5. Okay, what we're doing here, we're subbing the 5 and the 7. And we're subbing the 2 chord for the 4 chord here. Here we're adding the 3 chord to put in place of the going to the 2 chord. Now here we have the 6 chord subbing for the 1 chord, and we're just adding it in the different beats. So instead of playing plain G major 7 for 2 beats, we can add that in. The G6 and the G major 7, they'll sub for each other. G minor 7, we have B flat major 7. Okay, now this threw me up here on top up here. Dale, put the camera back up there. That kind of threw me because I didn't write this chart. Bill Webb did it for me, which he did a great job. But this here should have been a B flat major 7 right here. That 3 is not in there right. So that's a mistake on our card here. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, let's go back down here now. And it shows it right here. G minor 7, B flat major 7, C7, E minor 7 flat 5. Now the C7, that's the 7 chord, E minor 7 flat 5, 7 chord in the key of F now. And that's the 5 chord in the key of F. And it's the same thing down here. And this is progressions. You need to start playing and experimenting. You take all kind of different tunes and experiment with them. Now here we have subchords like for A minor. That's for the 2, 5 chord. The A minor 7, C major 7. They sub for each other. D7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5 is the 7 chord there again of the D7. The B minor 7, that's the 4 chord of the in the key of A. Okay, then you have E7 here, and that's the 7 chord, which is G sharp minor 7 flat 5. And here again we have the same thing. And you might want to practice this exercise. And the red is the main chord, and the blue is the subchords for this progression. Now let me play this progression. I'll play it through first just the red chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just plain Jane out of a fake book. Let's go back now and we'll play the subchords. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me do that again a little bit slower so you can get the value of this thing. So we go A minor, C, D7, flat 5, B minor, D major 7, E, A minor 7, C major 7, D7, flat 5, G, E minor 7, G, and G6. Now, later we're going to get into bass lines. We're going to get into playing bass lines and things later on, and it'll really tie these things together, because sometimes the D7 to the F sharp sounds a little bit strange, or the C major 7 to the A minor, or A minor, C major 7 will sound a little bit strange, but later on we will tie all this together for you, and it will fix that where it sounds really nice, because actually that A to C is a weak, that A to C is a weak bass line, and we'll explain that to you later. Now, let's get on into a combination of subchords and what we call a dominant approach chord. Now, a dominant approach chord, let's say we have an A minor 7 on the guitar. Let's say we have an A minor 7. Approach chord, that would be like a dominant chord, a half step up from the A minor 7, which would be a B flat 7 to an A minor 7. That's your dominant approach chord. If we're going to D, then your next would be a D minor, we'll say. Your next approach chord would be an E flat, because it's one half step up from D. Now I got this here. And that's for your dominant approach chord. Now let's go over to the chart, and we'll look at that. Here we have the main chord is a G major 7, which is a 1 chord, and that B minor is a substitute. It's a 3 substitute for 1 chord. And here we have our approach chord, C7, going to the B minor, which is the red. And then here's A flat 7, which is an approach chord, a dominant approach chord, going to the G minor 7. So that gives you each chord for each beat on there. So if I play this progression now, the first way is just B major 7. That's the first. G minor 7, C 7. Now when I add the subchords, I got G major 7, B minor 7, G minor 7, C 7. That's my regular chords. Now if I add all of the dominant approach chords and the subchords, here's what I got. See, it's a really nice sound. So I'm playing G major 7, dominant approach chord to the B minor, and then A flat 7, dominant approach chord to the G minor, B minor, and then C7. A flat 7 to G major 7, F7 to E minor. That's a dominant approach chord to the E minor. A flat 7 to G6, A flat 7 to G major 7. Here again, we should have had a B flat major 7. That's another mistake. Okay, that's okay. You can't be perfect in these things. After all, this is a low budget video. Anyway, that's some great information there for you. So great information for you on subchords and how to use it. If you use these techniques, you can take any tune, any progression, I don't care what it is, and adding these subchords. Now I'm going to review just a little bit. You take a D minor 7 to use a subchord. It'd be an F major 7 or an F major 9 or whatever. And for the 5 chord, you sub the 7 chord, which would be the B minor 7 flat 5. In the case of the key of C, the 5 chord. Then in the 1 chord, you substitute a 1, 3, and 6, which is C major 7, A minor 7, E minor 7, which really adds to your playing. Now on the dominant approach chord, if I'm going to D minor 7, I'm going to it now. My approach chord will be E flat, some type of E flat 7, E flat 9, E flat 13, to the D minor. If I'm going to the G7, it's already a dominant chord, so I'm going to have to approach it with a half-step approach, like A flat to G if I want to approach it. And to C major 7, I'm going to approach it with a dominant approach chord, which is a D flat 9 to C major. Now instead of going like that, I can go like this. Now that's just a D minor 7, G7, and using your approach chord and subchords. And that's about the extent of this video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And later on, we're going to cover bass lines and composing, and strong bass lines, weak bass lines, and all the different ways of composing music by using the melody and the harmony and the bass line on the guitar neck, which will really do wonders for your playing if you work at it. So, if you'll look at your booklet and your pamphlets and learn these techniques and practice them every day along with the other videos and keep going, by the time you get on into the videos a lot further, you'll learn sight reading, country guitar playing, all kinds of different things. It's just a world of knowledge, and if you work at these things, these are the type of things you can use on the bandstand when you're playing, and it really helps you tremendously. Now, like I said, we're going to have a brochure out pretty soon that tells you what the different videos consist of, so you can look at them. But I wouldn't want you to skip a video. Once you get on the video program, I want you to finish all 36 of them before you, in a row, because they're designed for that type of thing. So anyway, until next time, hope you've enjoyed this video, and